Hi all, this is Dee from Daydream Life, your dance, fitness, yoga, meditation, and life coach. And today we're going to talk about dating. What are the rules that people are often talking about, whether you should go on how many dates and how close and what games do you need to play. So I would love to be able to share with you my thoughts and also hopefully navigate and help you with these issues, especially for those of you who have been dating for a while and without success. So I'm sure that these are the things that are constantly talked about and bothering your mind, and I hear that from quite a lot of my students and friends and clients that are struggling and would love to get my thoughts and views about this. So let's start. All right, now what do we think about going on dates, and how often should we meet someone who you are exploring to start a new relationship with? This is one of the questions that came up yesterday while I was talking to somebody, and she told me that she heard the rule was that you should only meet once a week in the beginning. Well, firstly, I balk when I hear about rules. Why should there be rules? Oh, because somebody read a book somewhere that said that there should be a rule about this. Well, let me tell you that if someone's truly meant for you, if a relationship was meant to happen, if you've met somebody who's really going to be somebody who's a significant other in a relationship that's going to be significant in your life, then I really don't think you need to stick by rules according to some book out there. If you've had some experiences in the past where things didn't work out, you were dating somebody and you were thinking really hard, maybe it's because you went out on a date with that person once or too many, or you messaged this person once too many times and that person ran away. Well, let me share and hopefully give you a sense of relief here that if that person really liked you, and if you were really meant to be in a relationship, if your connection strong, your chemistry strong, and the compatibility and the fireworks are just out there, sparks are just flying everywhere, there is nothing that you can do within those rules and details that would really push them away so far. And if they really didn't like what you were doing, then they would tell you, hey, I really like you, however I cannot talk to you all day, perhaps can you please slow down on messaging me, or let's only meet once a week, not because I do not like you, but because I actually do not have enough time to see you 3 or 4 or 5 times a week because of my job or my living situation, of how far we are from each other. Whatever it is, if that person really liked you, so this is the key here, if the person really liked you, and if you are actually destined and meant to have a relationship, then no matter what you try to do in terms of those rules that you've read from a book, it doesn't really matter. You communicate and you get to know each other and you progress along, and you will adjust to each other's needs and wants and the practicality around the relationship. So do not try to stick onto rules that are recommended by a certain book or a certain set of people. I've also heard a girl tell me that, you know, if I slept with this guy on the second date or the 10th date, or after 3 months or after 6 months or whatever it is, would it matter? You know, there are a lot. Well, let's talk about sex. Because sex is such a big part of relationships. So let's dive into this topic. Should you or should you not sleep with somebody? No, it really depends. For example, if you're going on a date with someone and you already can feel that you're not really going to get a serious relationship out of this person, whether it's because that person is not interested, not ready, or just doesn't feel like you're the one, then you have every right to hold back and not have sex. Especially if you're a girl. I'm speaking from a girl's perspective. sex is very sacred. Your body is your temple, and you do not want to give it away easily. Ideally, if you're a conservative Christian or religious person, you would like to save it for marriage. But the reality is, many people right now do not wait for marriage for sex. So I'm working on the premise that if you're going to have premarital sex, when is the right time to have sex? Well, first of all, it's not about how long the timeline is or how many dates you've been. It's about finding out if that person is the person that you would like to really go into a relationship with and feels the same way as you. If they are, and you have both confirmed that you would like to really try to be in a committed, exclusive, and serious long-term relationship, then by all means you can, after that point of decision and agreement, have sex. Well, what if you don't and haven't talked about those things, but the sparks are flying, there's a lot of chemistry, there's a lot of connection, hormones are raging, and you're feeling like you really want to explore? Well, then you really are treading at you're treading at your own risk, but it's a gamble that you're taking, because sometimes sex and relationship are like chicken and egg. How do you know if you can be in a good relationship if you haven't tried out the sex? Some people say that, and I do agree at some level, yes, because sex is one thing that determines and makes the difference between a good friend and a partner. You can have your best friend that you can go out for movies, hang out, talk, have fun with, but the one big difference between your best friend and your partner is sex. So sex is a major component that makes or breaks a relationship, because at the end of the day, people cheat most of the time or leave a relationship most of the time because the sex is no longer or never satisfying. Then the primal need to be satisfied in that very big part of their life will then draw them and away towards something else. Okay, so it's very important to actually find a partner and a relationship where the sex is actually good enough, right? So I do agree that sex and relationship can be a chicken and egg, which means you don't know which one comes first. Sometimes it's simultaneous. As you have sex, you realize, wow, this sex is great, the connection is fantastic. The connection and the sex becoming better actually comes from a real good relationship as well, because as you trust that person more, as you feel more comfortable to open up, as you feel more intimate, then inherently you'll be able to let yourself enjoy sex and let that person in, right? You're allowing someone else into your body, into your mind, into your soul. Sex is very sacred. It's two bodies coming together as one, and it is very, very, very intimate, which means that a lot of the time, if you have sex too soon, then without having a strong enough relationship, the sex may not be good or as good as when you really know each other and trust each other and have a very special bond. That's when the ability to open up, to explore, to be good to each other in bed becomes elevated as well. So going back to that question of when is the right time to have sex, well, there is, number one, no right or wrong time, but number two, it's also important to know that as you decide that this person is going to be a strong partner, high probability of being a really long-term committed partner, that's when the thought and idea of having sex becomes more reasonable. Use sex as a way to get closer and understand that person. So don't waste it on somebody who you are not even sure is interested in you, who you're not even sure would like to have a long-term relationship with. Now obviously this is very grandmother kind of advice. I come from a conservative side. For those of you free spirit animals out there who think that, you know what, I would just love to enjoy that night and just have a day, whatever time of the day you have sex, if you would just like to enjoy and go with the flow and do it and not care if there's commitment, connection and relationship after, I do not disapprove. But this video and my advice is more directed for those people who are really looking for a very serious, committed, long-term, fulfilling, loving relationship. And sex is often a very big topic, and it becomes a bit tricky when to do it, when not to do it, how soon is too soon, and would doing it too soon actually sabotage your probability and possibility to be in a relationship with someone? Well, I can tell you from experience, from my personal experience, and also from dealing with people and coaching them through relationships and dating, that it would not affect things significantly if someone was really meant to be your partner, and if someone truly liked you, then those minutia details should not change the outcome of whether you end up being in a relationship with them or not. Now, however, I do think that the first date is really not the time for most of the people. It's really not the time to really have sex. Why? Because, well, you need to get to know a person. You need to try to understand. And for me, I think every girl and guy going into dating should really be very open and ask each other questions and really try to get to know each other. Relationships are not just about two people, lonely people who are attracted to each other coming together. It's really about understanding what you're looking for in the long run, whether your values are some sort aligned. Both, are you looking for the same thing? Are you on the same page? For example, do you want to get married? Some people fundamentally don't believe in marriages. Now, if you're dating somebody and you're looking for marriage, but that person doesn't believe in marriage, then it's quite game over, to be honest. What about monogamy? What if you don't agree on monogamy? What if one person believes that you should only have one sexual partner and one romantic partner each time, while the other one believes that you can have multiple partners? Then again, you cannot go ahead with it. Religion is an important topic. Sometimes that becomes a major hindrance towards halfway through dating. You love each other, you have emotions, you have connection, you have lust, you have attraction, and then you realize that one person is Muslim and the other one is Hindu, and that person's family will disown her if she married him, or if his family is not going to accept her unless she converts to this religion, and then the conversion is going to take 2 years. However, she's not able to commit to that kind of religious beliefs and practices. So talk about it. Talk about it during your first date. If you're really serious, talk about it first, second, third date. Talk about it. Do not shy away from difficult topics, because if you don't talk about it now, you're kicking the can along the road. Eventually it will spring up, and when it springs up 3 months down the road, it's going to be a lot more complicated and painful. And a lot of the time, people then feel like they've committed too much in the relationship, too much emotions, too much energy, too much time already committed into a relationship, to only find out that you're in a situation where actually it's an impossibility to actually get together eventually, and that's going to create a lot of heartache and pain that is quite unnecessary and quite dramatic. So talk about these topics. When you go on dates, it's not just about having fun. It's not just about let's watch a movie together. I mean, yes, you should do those things as well. You should have fun. You should have enjoyable things to work on or do or eat, explore, and that's all part of it. At the same time, you really need to set aside time to talk about serious topics like, do you want to get married? What would you ideally want from a relationship? How often do you want to meet? Do you want to have children? This is a huge topic. A lot of people don't talk about this until it's too late, until after they've got married and realize, hey, actually, I want kids, I don't want kids. And then what do we do? That's when divorces happen because, say, for example, Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. Perfect, classic example. Brad Pitt really wanted kids and Jennifer actually wanted her career more than children. So what do we do? Divorce, right? So that's not what we want. So talk about these things, and it's never too intense to talk about things like that. Think about it. If this is a person who you're planning to have the rest of your life with, if you're not able to talk about these really serious and difficult topics, then how are you going to navigate a relationship and marriage together in the future? Marriage is not just la 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 li 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 having fun all day. Marriage and relationship is about partnership. It's about making decisions together. It's about communication. It's about understanding. It's about going through challenges together. And if you're not able to have open lines of communication to really talk and discuss and understand each other and negotiate and agree on things from the beginning, then how are you going to navigate all those things in the future, right? So don't feel shy to talk about things like that. And if you're not able to get someone else to talk about these things as well, for example, if you bring up these topics and the guy goes, whoa, this is too soon, you're freaking me out, then alarm bell. This guy is not relationship material, not mature relationship material. If a person, whether a guy or a girl, so I'm sorry to incriminate guys, but normally guys do generally tend to be more averse to commitment and relationship, but it can happen to girls too, right? If you bring up these topics and this person has no clue of what to answer, balks at you bringing up these topics and gives you a wishy-washy answer and tries to skip the topic, then this is your answer. No answer is a great answer. Okay, I'll repeat that. No answer is a great answer, because when someone cannot give you an answer or cannot give you an assurance that they'll think about it, yeah, someone may have no answer immediately and they will tell you, you know what, actually that's a great question, I have not thought about it, I'm sorry, however, let's revisit it in next 1 month or 1 week or 3 months, because I would like to get to know you more before I can give you a more definitive answer about these topics, because I do not want to lead you on with a wrong answer because I simply haven't had enough time to think about it. That's a good answer, right? An answer doesn't have to be exactly what he or she wants. Someone can answer by saying, hey, actually, this is a great question. And yes, I agree that we do need to talk about this, but maybe at this point of our dating and relationship, I haven't had enough time and also enough observation of how we're going with our relationship to be able to give you a solid answer, a commitment. All right, now also don't forget that talking about these things doesn't mean I'm extorting a promise from you. Just because I would like to talk about whether I would want to get married in 2 or 3, 4, 5 years does not mean I necessarily need it from you. I'm just telling you this is my wish list for me. It doesn't have to be with you. And when I'm bringing this topic up, someone else, whoever you're talking to, is meant to also express their own personal wish list and views for their life. It does not mean that you two people are talking about this that means they have to commit with each other. No, I'm just laying out what I want for my life in terms of these things, and I'm just inviting you to share what your wants are. Just because you express you want to get married, it does not mean that you are saying that that person that you want to do it with is me. Okay, so some people don't want to talk about it because they say, oh, I'm worried if I bring this topic up and if I talk about it, that means that I am promising the other person that he or she is going to be the person that I would like to marry, have kids, buy a house, own dogs with. No. Talking about it simply is us expressing and showing our cards. This is what I want, this is what you want, and just exploring whether there is a match at all. Because if both of you want very different things, then it's good that you've talked about it. At least you don't want the same thing, therefore there is no match at this point. Then there is perhaps no need to keep going exploring this relationship. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope that you have gained something from it. For those of you who are navigating dating and often wonder when is the right time to talk about all these things, I can tell you from my experience as a coach and as a person dating, get it out of the way as soon as you can without sounding too pushy. Okay? There is always a way to bring things up without sounding like you are pushing for something out of someone else. You're just saying it out in a way so that it is just to, hey, FYI, for your information, this is me and this is what I'm looking for from a relationship with or without you. This is regardless of whether it's with you. This is what I aspire and look to achieve out of my dating and relationship life. And when you are providing clarity in terms of what you want, you go in a position of strength. You don't need to sound needy. You don't need to sound desperate. You are just being very sure of yourself. This is what I want, and whether whatever you can provide matches it, that's left to be decided. Me expressing what I want does not necessarily mean it's for you. I don't need it from you. Therefore, do not think I'm needy or desperate just because I'm clear and confident enough to be able to express what I would like to achieve out of all this. So dating at the end of the day is to be able to explore the right partner for partnership, marriage, relationship. So that's the whole point of dating. Aside from going out for fun movies and having someone to have dinner dates with, it's really exploring whether you're finding the right person to go into partnership with. So use that beautiful time and opportunity to actually really drill down to the right answers and questions that will allow you to decide and determine and discern whether this person is the right person for you to continue to date, or else you will be wasting time and energy, because there is opportunity cost of time and energy, people. For every bad date that you go on, there is potentially another person that's more suitable for you out there. Okay, so I don't want you to feel like you need to nail it all down and get all the answers in one date. But as you date someone for a few dates, do keep that in the back of your head that you need to get answers. You need to get clarity for yourself, because time and energy is precious. So remember to invest it in the right places so you grow the right things that you want in your life. If you want to manifest an amazing relationship, then make sure you plant the seeds in the right places with the right people. It's a pleasure sharing with you today. If you have any comments, any questions, comment below. Subscribe to my channel for more fun, informative discussions. I would love to be able to talk to all of you. If you have specific topics you would like me to touch on, whether it's relationship, career, life, health, fitness, wellness, looks, makeup, beauty, clothing, what to eat, where to go, shoot the questions to me and I'll try my best to answer each and every one of them. Namaste. I wish you all a great life ahead.